Hey guys, Sunday night. It's Sunday night. Back in Denver again. So, I see Kai Saverius truck or van down there. We're here for I Believe You night. Oh, I do see them. Hey. See. There we are. Dog. Squirrel. Dog. Excuse me. I need some better equipment. Obviously. Well, for a little while. It's yeah. There's a van. Men can be victims of domestic and sexual abuse also. At least I think this is area. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, I am wrong. I thought it was. Oh, okay. Let's see here. That is not where I wanted to go. I bet you maybe they're up at the. But let me check. Hold on, guys. I don't know where I'm going. Okay. Okay, well, I guess I'll wander around the park. I don't know. I wonder where they are. I have no idea. Let's see. Wonder where. do you have a poster? What poster? Okay, ouch. My knee hurts. I'm limping. Okay. I have no idea where they are. Ow. Ow. Well, I guess it's a good thing I'm not marching today. Let's see. I don't see him up there either. Seriously. See. She says the Cheeseman Park on 8th Avenue, so, or the Cheeseman sign. I don't know. 8th Avenue where? Ouch. I do believe that's 8th Avenue ahead of me. But I don't know where the sign is. I'll just wander over here. Ow. Oh, I think I see them. Way over there. Okay. I don't know why my knee hurts. I didn't do anything klutzy last night. Like I usually do. It's not that I remember. Just kidding. Well, I just hope this is them, because if it's not, then I'm just totally lost. Ow. Ow. Yes, I see her. Yay. Blimp, blimp. Hi, Abby. Hi, guys. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
It squeaked a little bit when I turned it all the way up. I'll try again.
I like that voice, Jess. Very nice.
Thank you for that. I think that really helped center us to start.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to let everybody know too that Carol is here. She's streaming, but won't get anybody's faces
Except for yours.
when they're speaking, except for mine. I give you permission to take my face. Yeah. Just because there's some people that really wanted to be a part of this today, and couldn't. So we wanted to make sure that they would be able to see it on stream as well. Should we start with our land acknowledgement, Sky?
You're good?
just on my face.
Okay.
Dagote, Sky Roosevelt Morris, Anseh. My name is Sky Roosevelt Morris. I come from the White Mountain Apache Nation and the Shawnee Nation. And I'm really honored to have been asked to acknowledge the land today. And I just want to preface this by saying that for Native people, land acknowledgements have become very performative. Everybody can do a land acknowledgement. Anybody can do a land acknowledgement, and we see it happening all over the country. And that shows the ineffectiveness of land acknowledgements, because it is performative. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in my land acknowledgement, because as Native people, our spiritual struggle is intimately connected with our political struggle. And so you can't talk about spirituality without talking about the political struggle of Native people, because it's also the political struggle of this earth, which happens to be feminine. And I'll speak candidly amongst my feminine women today. Land acknowledgements mean nothing without giving land back to Native people. That's the bottom line. And if you're not willing to engage in that kind of active resistance and support of Native people in their struggle for land liberation, then just say that. No need to be performative about that. Because when you are merely performative about those things, you're doing a disservice to the people who are dying for this. And I want to acknowledge Auntie LaDonna. She just walked on, and she was a fundamental person in the struggle at Standing Rock. She started the Sacred Stone Camp. And now she's with our ancestors. And so when we acknowledge the land, we acknowledge not just land, we acknowledge people. And that's why land acknowledgements are so easy, because you can acknowledge the land without acknowledging that it is stolen land. That this park is not a public park, this is stolen Native land. There is a burial ground underneath this park. That's struggle. And we forget about those things. Just like we're going to forget about these 2 young black relatives that were murdered this last week. And just like the violence that has been done unto our Asian relatives. It's so easy for us to forget those things, because they're intimately connected in the things that we do every single day. And if we don't combat those things within ourselves as much as within the systems like the police, then again, we are failing. We are failing future generations. That's what a land acknowledgement is about. It's about committing to the betterment for our future. And that includes the earth. It's not just for humanity. It's for all of life. And as women, we understand that responsibility more than anybody does, because we have the capabilities to give life. And so all of our struggles as Native people could not have gone forward without that presence of the feminine. Water is a feminine energy. The earth is a feminine energy. And we can't sustain without both of those things. So I ask you, I urge you as women to take your responsibility to life-giving seriously. Because if we continue on the path that we are on, there will be no life-giving. And it's not just for people of color. It will be for everyone. Because no one can survive without water. No one can survive without clean earth. And so when I acknowledge these ancestors, I'm calling them in. That is also a part of what we do when we acknowledge the land. I honor the Cheyenne and the Arapaho and the Ute nations. But I also want to pay homage to the 48 other indigenous nations that called this place home before they were forcibly removed. And if you think that forcible removal is not still happening in your names, then you are sadly mistaken. Viria has been monumental in that fight. They are forcibly removing unsheltered people in this community, while people idly stand by and let it happen in their names. You don't want to see unsheltered people? then do something about it. Change the system that allows people to be unsheltered. That is the bottom line. That's what our relatives fought and died for. They fought and died not so that we could have everything. Our ancestors were willing to share. We said this place is big enough for everyone, but not everyone's greed. And unfortunately, white people still haven't gotten that lesson yet. This isn't about everybody's greed. And so again, I just ask, especially my women relatives, we are on the brink of extinction. We have to do something for the sake of us and for the sake of the planet. We have to wake up to what is going on, because it comes at the expense of people of color first. And I'm tired of watching our black relatives not even be able to grieve, and then having white people captivate their grief and make a profit off of it. Don't be a victim to that. Don't parade people's grief and suffering around. Don't make it a hashtag. When you see injustice happening, you have a responsibility to do something about that. When you see a cop racially profiling a person of color, you better start filming. You better get out of your damn car and make sure that they're okay. That's what community does. We want a world without police, then we need to take responsibility for ourselves and one another. And women know how to do that better than just about anybody else. Because while the men in the civil rights movement were getting arrested and going to jail, it was the women that kept the community going. It was the women that were providing education. It was the women that were providing food. It was the women that were the heartbeat of the nation. And this system likes to make us believe that somehow we are inferior. And every time that we allow ourselves to believe that, we let this system win a little bit more. And we are a little bit more culpable and responsible for the death that happens. So please, I'm urging you. There's a pipeline being built in Minnesota right now that people are on the front lines for. Line 3 should not be happening. And if you think that in Denver, Colorado, we are not intimately connected to the pipeline up there, again, you're wrong. Suncor is in our backyard, and we allow that to continue to poison our children. What's that about? We allow this stuff in our communities, and we say nothing, and we do nothing. And then we ask our children and their children to carry the burden of our indifference. So please, I ask you to no longer be indifferent to the violence that is happening across the spectrum. We're talking about trauma-induced yoga. Who knows more about trauma than Unchimaka, Mother Earth? She knows greater than anybody about trauma. And yet her love for us is still unconditional. And she still believes that we can do the right thing. But we have to get out of our own way long enough to actually do the right thing together. And so, again, land acknowledgements are performative. And they're used to alleviate colonizers of their colonizer guilt. And I'm not here to do that for anybody. I don't want your guilt. I want your action. My people need your action. Your people need your action. And please help us stop the forcible removal of our unsheltered relatives. Talk to your city council. Talk to the mayor. You have more power as white women than most of us do in our entire lifetimes, based off of the system we live in. Use that power. Help us. I'm tired of watching our own community get swept to the curb and say that they're not even allowed to be human beings on stolen land. Who gives the city of Denver the right to decide who gets to live and die? They don't. We get to decide. If this is our community, then we get to decide who belongs in our community. Not the city of Denver, not the mayor, not the governor, who have done nothing for us, by the way. who've left us to die under a global pandemic. And it is the kind-heartedness of community that has kept people alive. It is not the city of Denver. It is not the state of Colorado. It is the spirit of good-hearted people and people who are unwilling to quit and people that believe that a new world is possible. So please keep believing in that new world, and please keep actively engaging to make that world a reality, because we need it now more so than ever. Thank you very much. Ashant.
Thank you, Sky, for your words, your challenging words, and your honesty. I'm grateful. Before we start this afternoon, just wanted to introduce all of these amazing people that help us put this on today, as well as introduce a couple people that are amongst you. Can everybody hear me okay in the back? Okay. I'm Jess Wiederholt, and I'll just pass this along and let everybody introduce themselves. I'm Helsing Viria.
Hi, I'm Brittany. I'm one of the co-founders of Women for the Revolution. I'm Brianna, and I'm also one of the co-founders for Women for the Revolution.
We just really want to thank everyone for coming today and just being able to have this space for everyone and just really feeling safe and secure to be able to fully feel emotions, especially as people are speaking. Please reach out to anyone beside you to talk. We're community, we're all here together. But again, just thank you so much for coming. We do have a lot of snacks and drinks over there. Please, if you're not hungry right now, please take some with you, help yourselves. But yeah, we're really grateful. Thank you again. We have a few clergy and mental health professionals that are here as well. So if that's something that you need that support anytime throughout the afternoon, please reach out to them. If those people could stand so we know who you are. So Karen, this is Karen, and then Terry, as well as Viria, who is quite qualified. So please seek one of those people out, or anyone next to you. We're all friends, and we'll be a support to one another. So thank you. We're going to move now to a time of sharing, and I'm most comfortable on the floor, but if you would like to come up and share and you can sit in the chair, you can stand, however you're most comfortable. This is a really comfy blanket too. As the Spirit moves you, you can come up and share, and you don't have to, right? Some people might have prepared something. I wrote something. Maybe a poem, maybe a letter, maybe you just want to share the words from your heart, maybe a song. So that's up to you and your heart. This is just a letter that I wrote. Dear survivors, I want you to know how incredible you are and how much this community loves and cares about you. Without a shadow of a doubt, we believe you when you say you've been harmed.
and I'm so sorry that you've experienced violence. To say that you have faced injustice is an understatement. Surviving sexual violence is a process full of heartbreak and grief, and can feel much more devastating than the word unjust can express. And yet, it is deeply, deeply unjust that you have had this experience. It is my sincere hope that if and when you decide to tell people in your life about your survivorship, that they believe you. It is common for survivors to face judgment, disbelief, and blaming from friends and family, which is often just as painful as the violence itself. Regardless, we will continue to believe you always. Even if no one else does, even if you have days where you still don't believe or trust yourself and your own experience. Remember that your experiences, memories, and feelings are real. Trauma can rob survivors of their ability to trust their own memories and feelings. When a person is assaulted or abused, their brain goes into survival mode and releases various neurotransmitters that allow for that person to survive the attack. Every person reacts differently to trauma. While this natural instinct is imperative for survival, it can be confusing for survivors who may have frozen up during their assault. These trauma responses may cause you to feel emotions you have never felt before, which can be unnerving. It can be challenging to recall the details of the assault in any logical order. And you aren't alone in navigating those feelings. There's no normal way to experience trauma. Although every experience is different, many survivors feel a sense of guilt over their assault. When something so unjust happens, it is normal to try to figure out a reason why it happened. We live in a rape culture that tells us that we as survivors did something wrong, and that is why we were violated. It is nearly impossible not to internalize this myth to some degree. Believe that you don't deserve any of this. You didn't deserve to be assaulted, abused, coerced, harassed, or harmed in any way. You don't deserve to be silenced or not taken seriously by a society that minimizes and condones experiences like yours. You don't deserve to be doubted or blamed for your experience as a survivor. None of this is your fault. Let me say that again. None of this is your fault. Regardless of your story, someone chose to harm you, and that decision sits firmly on them. No matter how your healing unfolds, know that this is not your shame to carry. The impact of trauma can feel unbearable at times. It is likely that at some point you may feel rage, depression, numbness, agony, heartbreak, or grief over what has happened to you. While these emotions are unbelievably painful, they are also signs of progress. Whenever you feel these emotions, you are processing your survivorship. The only way out is through. While you never deserve to experience trauma, You do deserve so many wonderful things that life has to offer. You deserve happiness. You deserve to heal. You deserve safety. You deserve rest. You deserve care. You deserve justice in whichever way you can conceive of it. You deserve love, support, and folks who will sit with you through pain and joy. Throughout your healing journey, know that every success, no matter how small it may seem, is progress. Getting out of bed is success. Listening to your body and staying in bed is success. Treating yourself to a long bath is success. Picking up the phone and asking for help is success. Taking a walk outside, every single step matters. So to end, I just wanted to say, survivors, I thank you. As a fellow survivor, I am with you. I see your courage. I see your power. And you are loved.
Thank you, Jess.
You're allowed to use my face.
I'm allowed?
Yes.
Love you, cat.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
No.
How about now?
Yeah. That's better.
I'm a little nervous. So I wrote a poem about this past summer, a little blurb after. Sorry, need to breathe.
Breathe. Take a breath.
A lioness in a cage full of stage fright. The light, it's too bright. Something doesn't feel right. This is where she fights to save her life. The whip cracks and packs a hard blow to her brain. She has to find peace away from this pain. She tears her teeth into his poisonous attack, but falls to her knees from the impact. Encore, encore, they scream as she falls to the floor. Her eyes fall dim, but he's who sinned. Look who's in the cage now. Monsters are real, and they look just like you and I. He told me I was so beautiful with two black eyes, and I believed him. Why wouldn't I? He said he loved me so much that he wanted to put me in the hospital. Don't ask why, because I don't have the answer, but I still stayed. Eventually, with the help of our community and a group called Operation Save Cat, I left him. The pain still follows me, though. In November, he was arrested on a warrant for 4 counts of sexual assault to a child. A child. Monsters are real, but you're not alone. And I see you, I hear you, and I believe you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Taylor. I wasn't really planning to share, but then I had a poem in my phone, so I felt like maybe it would be good. I haven't really talked to people in my life about, I guess, my experience. So I really use my poetry. It's called Adolescence. It passed through me like slabs of cement, heavy in the chest, my heart a pile of stones. I pluck each one, examine it, and add to the heap. The comments, exchanges seemingly innocuous, turn perverse behind the veil. The glances, eyes darting from my innocence, then my father. The touches, when her back is turned, shielding the unseen, penetrate me until I'm bruised. The rocks marking me with my mother's flittering palm, knowingly on my shoulder, ushering me forward. Time destroys its meaning, leaving me confused, chiseled into something unrecognizable from practiced hands. The comprehension of self dismantled, piece by piece, inch by inch, with each comment, with each glance, with each touch. I'm fragmented on the floor, face pressed on hard wood, flecks of dust rising, cheeks swollen, stained with tears, legs stiff, a dull throb splinters through me. Chest heaving against the salty boards, my neck strained, crooked from contortion, limb by limb, breath by breath, frozen, back in time, when my knees were knobs, lips chapped from Alabama heat, my hair long in tangles from lakeside wind, wide-eyed and groggy, freckles pronounced, before the etching of life appeared, back when I knew feeling rather than the procedure to going numb. Thank you.
I'm not really sure what moved me to get up and come up here. It wasn't me. I don't have anything eloquent. But the thoughts that were going through my head when I got up is the healing. 65 years. And as just said, everything is a process, and you're healing each step. But then, and you can move on. You can hide. I've hid my abuse from the world forever, and I still do. I'm afraid of what people will think. I know people won't believe me. I guess it's happened. I know people will. Some will. But I know that there will be a lot of people that won't believe it. They don't want to believe it. Nobody wants to believe that there's that much cruelty, anger, violence in this world. That exists. And I think I've healed some. It's not going to be one day I'm healed. It's just a process. I think I'm healing some because I find myself being in situations where I can be helpful to others. But then it just is a quick little trigger, and I am back in the drain room, in the abuse, in the torture, the horror. And it'll never leave me. The things that happen will always be a part of me. It's just like, scars that are there. I really want to unveil my scars a bit. What I've been through, I want folks to know that this happens a lot. And aggression of folks using sexual assault as their weapon. It happens to our kids. It happens so much. I've taken oaths, I've written vows that I would not kill myself because of the impact it would have on others who have suffered the same. But I want to take a vow now to say that I'm not going to hide to me the horrible stuff that has happened in my life as a child mostly. And the poem that was read, you split into pieces because you cannot handle it. You don't know if you're going to live. You have to wait to see if they're going to kill you. You wait for the next time it's going to happen. I know how to wait. I can wait. So I'm 65, now is the time when you could die anytime, right? I mean, if you make it this long, it's probably going to be some illness that'll happen, and people die. It's going to happen sooner than later. I might have 20 months left or 40, who knows. But I think for everyone else that has been sexually assaulted, for me, it's very important to stand up and say, this happened to me. This is who I am. I just do it. I mean, yeah, people are going to think less of me. Some. They're going to think I can't handle things, even though I have been. We have been. All of my parts have been. But I still, it's like, is somebody going to find out about what happened to me? Is somebody going to find out my reaction to what happened to me? Is somebody going to find out how mentally ill I really am? And I try to hide it so much, but I'm not going to anymore. Not anymore. I was ritually abused as a child, satanically ritually abused for years. And I split into pieces, parts. They'll never come together. It's just sometimes, and if people don't notice, they don't. But if you did pay attention, you'd see sometimes I'm not the same person I was a few minutes ago. We all try to work together, not always very well, but it's not an excuse for erupting anger. I mean, because I take responsibility for all my parts. I want you to know, it's a struggle all the time. And every one of us that has been abused, we know this, we carry it with us. But we can find happiness. We can find a sense of a meaningful life, a purpose. We can find that core person that will, be our strength. We have to be our own strength. We can find that. And then there's others that will help us along the way. I just want to encourage, so we will heal. We will.
Thank you.
Hey. What?
Do you want to be a...
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Jet. Let's see. I didn't think this out at all, so I'm just gonna say words. Excuse me. I often ask myself, what did I do to deserve any of this? I think that it's very hard to be vulnerable near people I trust now. 'Cause how absolutely desperate do you have to be to do that to a 6-year-old? It is unbelievable how disrespectful some of my family is about this topic. I'm 13, for reference. It's very hard hearing my family not believe me in certain circumstances, only because it was someone we loved and trusted so much. Someone who had kids of his own. I often think, do you think his children are thinking of him? Do you think his children think of him in the same way? Do you think his children admire him still? I find him extremely hypocritical. I find it disbelieving. Sometimes I ask myself, was it all a dream? Wasn't. I don't think it was. But I figure that I'm not gonna let people paint me as a beautiful broken picture, because I don't want my trauma glorified to be something that it is not. I do not like the idea of people glorifying something so horrible. And I find that with a lot of things. People will often tell you really sappy stuff. Really beautiful, poetic stuff when it comes to this. And that is absolutely not what it is. And there goes the sign again. People who have not dealt with the trauma that other people have faced do not know how to comfort without blatantly glorifying, and that is something that annoys me a lot. It's something that is indirectly harmful, I believe. I believe that in order to face your trauma, you must look at it in its raw form. And that's really it. I told myself I didn't think this through. I'm just saying words at this point. But yeah, that's it. I think that it's okay to grow on from something disgusting that happened to you. You don't have to force yourself to hold on to something like that, because this is annoying, but you will only live one life, and you can't spend that life grasping onto something that hurt you so badly. You must heal yourself, because because you will always be a stronger person than they are. You are always that. And like, yeah, I'm a vulnerable person. Nah, bro. Like, it's like, after realizing that, like, I can live a beautiful life and still recognize the fact that I have trauma, it was so heartwarming. I can appreciate things that he appreciated. It's okay. I can like things that he liked. I can listen to music that he listened to. Like, I have fully grown as a person, and I am so much, like, better than him. That's it.
That was god awful. Man, I told her I'm gonna go up there and say, where is it? I should give some. I wrote this song before everything happened, but it's kind of relevant. But where forged. Leave me to forget. I don't know where I stand. Call me if you need a drink, or if you just need a friend. I know we'll never be friends again. Stand around. When I come running towards you, let's sit around and talk of things that bore us. Mine till now will be left aching for it. Draw away when I fight you for it. Maybe one day, month away, no memory of you. I'll win this game you play, and you will lose.
Okay. So, I never reported my assault because of shame. So I find that just vocalizing it helps me fight that. When I was 19, I blacked out at a party, and one of my, I thought, good friends assaulted me. I came to mid-assault, and because I couldn't fully remember or recognize what happened, for a while I almost didn't believe that what I was remembering was right. And over the last 13 or 14 years, as things start to become clearer and I understand what happened to me, I really find that, like, nothing that happened to me that night is what brings me shame. I know I didn't deserve it. I only just wish that I was stronger in the moment so I could have reported it. I've seen him out a couple times, his wife and daughter, and sometimes I'm worried for his daughter because I didn't report. But yeah, that's it. Just because you didn't report doesn't mean that what happened to you was any less wrong or hurtful. That's it.
Thank you.
loud, so I might just talk. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Brittany.
Nah. I'm really, really grateful for everyone who has came out here today. It's even hard just being in these spaces, and it's like kind of coming to that, like, realize, like, it's really hard, like, hearing people's stories, and just like, it's nice in the way that you have someone to like relate to when you know the struggle, but it's just like, we shouldn't even have spaces like this, and it shouldn't be like so much violence against women and this like culture. And honestly, I wasn't gonna talk, like, I was really glad for this space, but it didn't really like hit until I heard Bree say like seeing their like wife and children. And it's just, I've been assaulted twice, once in high school and once in college, and I don't think either of them even know that they assaulted me. And I think that's also such a big problem as well, like within like such a violent culture, and especially towards like women. And both of them like have happy wives, like families, they're both successful, and I don't think they'll ever realize like all of like the PTSD and the trauma and the therapy and the crying and the violence and like antidepressants that like someone has to go through, and someone gets to live their lives as if nothing happened. And so just being able to have this space and be able to have like this community, I'm like very, very grateful. I'm so grateful for everyone who's been able to speak today. I know it's a lot, it's really heavy, and especially like talking about it out loud, it's almost like another level that you have to like break down. It's like you have that like internal trauma, you know that what's happened, and then you like have the people that know, but to like really say it and to be vulnerable like in front of like communities like this, like I just thank everyone who's like talked and shared and like poetry and just been able to like have this space. And I'm like just very, very, very thankful for all of you, and thank you for sharing. And
Thank you.
I almost identically. Oh, I turned it off. So Bree's story could have, I could have told you that same exact story. Being 19 years old, going to a party, and being raped by someone that I considered to be one of my closest friends. But in 1989, we didn't even have the language to call that rape. And I spent years telling myself a story that I had just made a bad decision and cheated on my boyfriend that night. And that the reason I felt so bad was because I was ashamed that I had done something that I shouldn't have done. And then since then I've realized that partially I think we tell ourselves these stories to help protect ourselves from the truth, that people we cared about could do such terrible things to us. And then what I finally learned is that those stories don't actually protect us. They protect the people who did those terrible things. And so I've spent a lot of time just trying to come to terms with that, right? That story that I would tell, like, oh no, I wasn't raped, isn't true. I was. And by someone who I actually remained friends with afterwards, because again, we didn't have that language. And now I look back and I'm horrified. And one thing that, I don't know if this will seem weird or not or inappropriate, but that actually inspires me about this is hearing so many of you who are so much younger than I am, who already have the language to understand what has happened and are already so much further along in your own journeys of healing. And I take inspiration for that. So thank you all very much. These things didn't exist when I was y'all's age, so it's nice to see this and to get to be a part of this now. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
We're also very thankful for the therapy dog.
Yes,
It's not
right.
playing that, but that's
Yeah.
needed.
It is.
30 if anyone needs cuddles.
She's been cuddling me all night.
We're going to end today with our yoga, but I want to make sure everyone who wants to share gets a chance to share. I was always that person, especially when I was younger, I always waited to the end. And then I waited so far to the end, and then I didn't share, and then I regretted it later. Type of thing. So I didn't want anyone to go home with those feelings of regret that they wanted to share and they didn't. We'll give it just a few more minutes, and then we'll start our yoga. Haley, do you want to come and get set up? If anybody wants to get a drink or some cookies, it's a great time to do that. Yeah.
This is sweet.
Nope. That's not for you. Brushes and
I know, precious and cute.
She's also like, I saw some.
She is precious and cute.
Gertie is his name?
Gertie, yeah.
I was just give you a hug. Are you gonna stand up?
That's a great name.
You have to decide.
Oh, I love dogs.
I'm gonna get a cookie.
Hey,
There's muffins too.
I'll look at that food.
He's all fine. They head out because had a pit bull now to take care of.
Yeah, I saw he's beautiful. Oh my god, he's so beautiful. Is that black? He's so beautiful. I was like, I've never seen such a pretty pit bull. Have you?
No, lucky me. His owner died in a car accident.
Really?
Yeah, so
Oh my God.
he was going to be put down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, he's not. He's coming with you.
What's his name?
Bowser now. It was
Bowser?
Trouble. I'm like, he's no trouble at all. You know?
It is.
Do you mind if I bomb another cigarette?
Of course, I.
Thank you.
Where's the other one?
On the way of the car.
Yeah, here. Let's walk over here and like one.
Yeah.
Bluetooth. Harry. Bluetooth connected.
If you're comfortable with that. Yeah. If anyone needs a mat, there are 2 extras back here.
During a speech too, and I was like, "Come on!"
In the tree?
Yeah, he was sitting right there, like squatting above me.
I don't have followed my hair though, right?
Yeah,
I felt something
No. No, there's also like the buds from the flowers are falling off, but the pink looks like this.
And then the car just look at him. Menace.
Yeah, your little bathroom. I give you a French fry and you shit on me. That's how we're doing this. I'm Menace. He's just gonna attack me if I don't give this to him. That's the last one, you hear me?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I was like, we're just waiting. Everybody that wants to do this seems like they're pretty ready. Yeah, it's getting pretty cold, so we're gonna start now. Yeah. Perfect. Thanks, Bree. Anyone that wants to move with us and breathe with us, please, you know, it seems like you're all here. There, like Bree said, there are 2 extra mats. If anyone wants. You're welcome to move over. Yeah. Yeah, and just, yeah.
I want up my guitar.
Yeah. If anyone wants this, just put those sticks and all the things on the ground. Alright, so my name is Keely. I'm friends with Bree, and thank you so much for welcoming me in and sharing your space with me. I'm excited to be here. I'm glad that I'm able to support, and
I've been teaching yoga for 7 years. I originally got into yoga to actually work with people with anxiety, depression, PTSD. And I think in the last few months, there's been an important distinction and shift, diagnosed and undiagnosed, right? Because a lot of us experience trauma and there isn't a diagnosis, or it's unrecognized, or even unnamed, or not verbalized. So just wanted to share that. And I'm a certified yoga therapist, which means that I work with the tools and principles of yoga to support people in, typically in their everyday life, and it's often paired with other support that they have, whether it's mental health, they're seeing a therapist, counselor, something like that. So working with trauma is extremely important, and I think that, we all can use extra support and extra tools. So we'll move a little bit, but please, anything that you're comfortable with, whether you've done, yoga every day for however many years, or it's your first time getting curious about yoga, I'm glad that you're here. And we'll keep it pretty gentle. We'll probably, we'll breathe first and probably only move for like 20-30 minutes because it is pretty chilly. And I want everyone to make sure that they feel safe and supported, in the environment, but also physically, literally. We don't want anyone, pulling any hammies out here in the park. But we won't do anything too fancy. So wherever you're most comfortable, I wanted to offer up a tool that I think will help all of us, myself included, ground after such deeply personal and vulnerable shares. And it's called Emotional Freedom Techniques. It's tapping. And some of you may have done it, not know what it's called. Some of you may know it and already do it. There are different points on your body that you actually just tap. And it helps to calm your nervous system. And so I just wanted to share that. It's something that you can do anytime, anywhere. And so we can start with that. So I'm going to sit on my knees, but wherever you're comfortable, cross-legged. You can even, if you're more comfortable, on your back. And I'll just show a few points because some are on the face, but I think the 2 or 3 that are most accessible, top of your head, and truly you just tap. Top of your head, you can close your eyes if you feel comfortable with that. You can settle into any breath that feels natural. If it feels okay, you can soften through your torso, through your chest, and your low belly. And then, if you want, you can pair the tapping with a mantra or any type of verbalized expression that you want to use, and it's often something like, even though I experience anxiety, I fully love and support myself. So even though I fill in the blank, I fully love and support myself. Or perhaps you modify that and simply say, I fully love and support myself. From here, you can move down to your chest, your sternum, and keep tapping. With eyes open or closed, it is your choice. And if the mantra helps, right, to verbalize, to essentially throw yourself a bone, to give yourself something to focus on. Even though I experience anxiety, I fully love, support, and accept myself. And the third tapping point that I'll show you is on the outside edge of your hand, right here. Bring your fingers to the side of your hand, or you can tap if that feels better, hand to hand. You can tap any time, and it can be anything. When you feel triggered by a person, an event, big, small, traffic. Just a few more breaths here. And release your hands to your lap. Again, if it feels okay, you can close your eyes. Or if you'd rather, soften your gaze. Just notice how you feel. Maybe there's a buzz or a tingle, maybe nothing at all. Gently blink your eyes open. You can stay seated as you are. If child's pose is accessible for you and comfortable for you, you can make your way to child's pose. Draw your toes together to touch. Find some space between your knees and reach your fingertips towards the top of your mat. If you'd rather stay up on your forearms, you can. Option to close your eyes, and friends, I may pop in and out of the pose. So listen to the cues that I give you verbally, and I will do a lot of the classes with you, a lot of the passions with you as well. You can seal your lips and find your breath in and out from your nose. A great way to add ease to deepen your breath. Starting to rain. We'll keep going. Rise up from your child's pose onto your knees, and we'll keep it real easy. We'll keep it real simple, friends. We'll take seated Sunday. So from your knees or cross legs, inhale, reach your arms overhead. Relax your shoulders down, with eyes open or close your doors. You can tone the muscles through your core for added support along your spine. As you reach your fingers up, breathe in. Exhale, take an easy twist over to the right side of your space. Place one hand on your knee or your thigh, one hand behind you. Extend up through the crown of your head. Inhale, rise back up through center. Exhale, twist other side. There's no right or wrong with your practice. When you breathe and move, that's where it calms you, where the magic, the benefits of the practice really happen. Inhale back through center. Nice. One more time with breath. Exhale, twist. Inhale, seated mountain pose. Exhale, twist your leg. One more time each side. Inhale through center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen up. Inhale, back through center. Exhale into tabletop. Plant your fingers on your mat, your palms on your mat. Stack your knees underneath your hips. Inhale, cow pose. Draw your heart forward. A little more movement along your spine here. Exhale, cat pose. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Press the back of your Exhale, everyone crouch into a squat and curl. Be mindful of your knees, your low back, like your chin to your chest. And out, heels down. Inhale, mountain pose. Now we move with breath. Exhale, back bend with your heart. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, give yourself a squeeze, curl in. Full breath in. If it feels right, tuck your chin towards your chest. And heels down. Inhale, mountain, rise up one more time. Breathe in. Exhale, back bend. Inhale, mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Move through your midline. Keep your weight forward in the balls of your feet. Take a breath in. Exhale, squat and curl. Hugs in. Grab find a comfortable spot to be. Alright. So it'll be kind of interesting, right? Because we all have different things with us, but we'll hold a few poses and then we'll end with breathing and some mindfulness. So if it feels right, fine. We'll do a caterpillar pose. So extend your legs out in front of you. Bend your knees, lengthen up. If you have something underneath, or blanket, an extra jacket, whatever, you can use mine to support your knees. Walk yourself forward, find a gentle forward fold. Right, and then we'll counter and open up. So you're here for a moment. Bend your knees slightly. Tip your hips forward to support your pelvis and your lower back. Slowly make your way up. Support yourself as you lift up. And then bring your knees in just a little bit more. And then cross your legs. Find, again, a tall seat. We'll counter with a seated sun A. So inhale, extending mountain pose here. Exhale, back bend. Lift your heart. Option to interlace your hands behind your head. Butterfly your elbows out. Lift your heart high. Right, if your forward fold calms and restores, your back bend energizes. Inhale, think tall mountain through your fingers. Exhale, bring your hands through your heart. Take a moment here, close your eyes. Soften through your face, relax your teeth, separate your teeth and relax your jaw. Heart center, ground into your space. We'll move into a little bit of breathing. Wherever you're most comfortable, definitely where you feel warm and supported, with eyes open or closed, you can relax your arms by your sides. If you want to move a little bit more, please do. If you want to lie down on your back, please do. We'll do alternate nostril breathing. So I'm gonna pull my mask down. You could definitely do it with your mask up. It is totally up to you. So alternate nostril breathing is another great technique that we have that yoga gave us, which is really incredible. So alternate nostril breathing also calms your nervous system. And some people prefer to visualize it and not bring their hand to their face. I like to actually have my hand up and use my fingers and my thumb. So options, you can bring your index finger and your middle finger to your third eye center, so right in the middle of your forehead. And then your thumb, you'll place it, so I'm speaking as though I'm using my right hand and assuming everyone's using their right hand. However, we don't all use our right hand. So with your index finger and ring finger on your forehead, bring your thumb to your right nostril and gently close off your right nostril only. Inhale through your left side. Release your thumb, then use your ring finger. Close off your left nostril and exhale through the right side. Then inhale through your right nostril. And switch, exhale through your left nostril. Inhale on your left. And exhale on your right. Inhale on your right. And exhale on your left. Inhale on your left. And exhale on your right. Keep going like that. Cycle through the breath. I will find the time. You're here for another few moments. There's no right or wrong. And just notice. Yoga calls us into the witness mind, the observer. Notice anything that comes up. Acknowledge it and then let it pass. If at any time it feels overwhelming, you can relax your hand down. Take 2 to 3 full more rounds of breath. And end with an exhale through your left side. When you're finished, you can relax your hands down onto your lap. Send up through the crown of your head. Close your eyes, soften down through your breath. From here, if you're comfortable, extend your legs out in front of you. Make your way onto your back. It may help to place blankets or your hands, or again, if anyone wants mine, raise your hand. I have one. Perfect. Yes, and then I love the options and variations. If this feels a lot on your low back, or you feel any tension on your low back, please plant your feet, bend your knees. Always number one, support yourself. Yeah. Right here, take rest. Not always easy to find a rest. I'm alert, I'm aware, so you can close your eyes and soften into this space. Notice the steady rhythm of your breath. some awareness back into your space. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. Reach your arms overhead. Find a deeper breath as you take a good morning stretch. Draw your knees in towards your chest. And then turn over to your right or your left side for seed pose. Seed pose, or the fetal position, right, signifies a weaver. A posture you can visit at any time, and you can rest your arm on a bicep. If it feels better to support yourself with your hands, your arm underneath you, please take that option. Take a moment to rest right here, and then when you're ready, mindfully and in your own way, press yourself back up to a tall seat. You can keep your eyes closed or open, whatever feels best for you. Bring your hands in your lap, palms up to receive, palms down to ground. You can bring your hands together at your heart. Or as a way to acknowledge one another, draw your thumbs up to your third eye. This is the seat of your intuition. Friends, you can bow forward if that feels right for you. And I simply say thank you and gratitude for showing up, for sharing your space in this part of your practice with me. Thank you. Friends, that was like the shortest mini.
Now the sun's out.
I know, now the sun's out, like shortest mini yoga ever. So thank you again for sharing your space with me. I wanted to move a little bit, but I also really wanted to show you tapping and alternate nostril breathing, because we often think of yoga as, you know, heated power classes, which right now that's, you know, my bread and butter. That's what I do day in, day out. But yoga to me is this, like, is connection, is community, is support, and other tools. Yeah, so thank you for sharing your space with me. If you have questions about tapping or breathing, or want to know more about tapping, let me know. I'm happy to chat, happy to answer questions if I can. Thank you for having me. Yeah. You're welcome.
I know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much. Look, the sun is out. Hi guys. Lucy, hi Lucy. Dala, beautiful woman, Dala.
Yeah, totally. Now every time.
So the sun is back out. The sun is back out. I know it got really cold and windy or rainy there for a second. Yeah. So a wonderful night, guys. Thank you for attending and watching and being with us. I love you much. See you again soon.